Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of the Chamber Buzz. I'm David Ferris, and our special guests this week celebrating Red Cross Month are Judy Bullock and Larry Williamson. Judy is the Emergency Service Director for the Red Cross, and Larry is a volunteer for the body members. The Weekly Buzz is brought to you by Roger G. Taylor and Associates. Let's go see what's going on around Rocky Mount.
If you have not heard them, you have to. They've played several weddings for me. They're great for weddings. They can play any kind of music you want, from beach and shag to classical and everything in between. And if you just want a night to sit back and enjoy just classic music, just to put you in a whole different setting, they are the ticket right there.
The music is awesome. I'm really enjoying what I'm hearing. You really need to check these folks out.
I think the Tar River Orchestra is one of our hidden gems. We have some very talented musicians, dedicated musicians that play wonderful swing music and orchestra music, and it's just great to come out and listen to them. It's one of our gems here in Rocky Mount.
It's a great asset to our community.
Fantastic work. No big communities our size have this kind of talent and opportunity. Everybody should come out.
We also appreciate all that they do for this community. They bring a level of support and quality of life that helps make Rocky Mount just that much better of a place to live, work, and play. So we certainly appreciate all that they do for the community.
The Tar River Orchestra and Chorus is, fantastic. They play all types of music, and it's great for our community. You know, you can go to an event and have someone playing, whether it's the bass or playing a saxophone or any of those instruments, and I'm talking about just awesome opportunity to hear some good music and enjoy good company as well.
I think it's a real treasure for Rocky Mount, and to have so many talented people that live in our community, I think it's just a great thing. And the Tar River Swing Band was the band of choice for my daughter and my son's wedding reception, so they have an extra special place for me.
So that's one of the neat things about it, that you can actually have them come and play at your daughter's festivities.
Yes.
Not a bad way to do it.
And people had so much fun, and they were good to dance to, and just added a lot of good atmosphere for the party.
And I tell you, the thing that I like, I remember particularly the time that they had the concert out at Wesleyan, and you were able to lie out on the ground. They had it outside, and the stars were gorgeous. It was the most beautiful, wonderful concert that I think I have ever been to. It was absolutely wonderful.
The Tar River Orchestra and Chorus.
I love the Tar River Orchestra and Chorus.
I love the Tar River Orchestra and Chorus.
I love the Tar River Orchestra and Chorus.
And I love the Tar River Orchestra and Chorus.
I love the Tar River Orchestra and Chorus.
We love the Tar River Orchestra and Chorus.
And welcome back to this week's edition of the Chamber Buzz. Judy, tell us a little about what the Red Cross Month is.
The Red Cross Month is when we really try to highlight so many of the things that we do. A lot of people think of us as just showing up after a major disaster, but we respond to disasters daily when somebody's house burns. We support our first responders. We support our military. If the military is coming through town, they don't have a place to stay, their car breaks down and they're active military, we make sure things are taken care of for them. That's all through the donated dollar. Red Cross Month is used to bring in additional volunteers because we are a volunteer organization and we never have enough because we're on call 24/7. So we need a lot of volunteers to help cover the 5 counties in this chapter. And in our region, we have 33 counties. It's from North Carolina down to South Carolina. So we have a very large region. We all support each other with what needs to be done.
You know, you hear so much, as you pointed out, what Red Cross does throughout our region, throughout the country, frankly, throughout the world.
Right.
You are a global
player,
and in Rocky Mount, you're a big presence. And you know, we've had over the years, over the last 15 years or so, we've had a lot of catastrophes here that the Red Cross was here, was on site helping our community. And it was also wonderful seeing Red Cross volunteers from other regions, other parts of the country step in. And you know, when Floyd and Irene visited, and I know y'all do the same thing.
Yes, we
you
do.
Load up. I've ridden by and you load up, and y'all heading north, south, east, west. I'm sure y'all were in the northeast after Sandy visited late this fall.
We sent a couple short of the most number of people from the whole region came from our chapter. And several people from our chapter have gone up there twice, and some will go a third time. But we've deployed people all the way out to California, to Texas. Wherever it's necessary for us to go is where we go. The emergency response vehicle that we have at the chapter looks sort of like an ambulance. We do bulk distribution, both out of that. We send that anywhere. It's a national vehicle, so it goes wherever there's a disaster.
Well, that's such a wonderful mission and
really
service that.
And we really work hard at preparing the public. We want to come out and speak to groups, let them know what they can do to be prepared in their own homes, because a lot of people don't think of things. They think if they go to work in the morning, their home's going to be there when they go back. A tornado can come through and it won't be there. And if you haven't made a plan as to where you're going to meet your family, then you're running around trying to find each other, and it causes a lot of undue stress. So we try to do a lot of education.
Well, I'm going to save your voice for a little bit later today. You're a good sport coming out, and Judy has suffered a bout of laryngitis, and bless her heart, she was determined to come anyway today, and we thank you so much. And I think that just frames the spirit of the Red Cross and Red Cross volunteerism. Larry, you're a great volunteer. How did you get involved with the Red Cross?
I had the opportunity to serve on the board over the past year, and in so doing, really gave me a real awareness of what all that they do all the time. I had heard about Red Cross quite a bit, as anyone else has, but really had no idea how much the Red Cross did.
They're a terrific organization. Have you gone out of this region with them on any of their?
No, I have not.
You have to be trained to a certain level before you deploy, because when you deploy, you're supposed to know exactly what you need to do. But we'd be happy to train Larry to go out. It wouldn't be a problem at all.
I think he's trainable. He could be human resources.
We could train you too, David.
Well, I was going to ask you if your voice will allow it.
Sure.
If I said, okay, Judy, I'm going to raise my hand. I want to volunteer. I want to do more than write a check. I want to do more than give blood. And I want to be trained where I can go and do the most good, as well as still maintain my job.
That would not be an issue.
Walk me through what would.
What you do is we have a new website that's called Volunteer Connection. Okay. And you go into that, put in your information, and you register that way as a volunteer for the Red Cross. That could be to help with going out and doing presentations, with teaching, with going to responses, to helping with the blood, health and safety, helping in the office, just anywhere. And when you go in, there's a list of things, and you can check mark what interests you, because we want you to do something that you'd enjoy doing, because you're volunteering your time and talents. Then what we do is, after we find out what you want, we go through a schedule of courses. Some you can do online, some are blended learning where they're online in the classroom, some you have to come into the classroom. We teach you what you need to do, and then you have a mentor that walks you through the training process till you feel comfortable. As you feel more comfortable, then you can become a lead in that area. Some people start off in one area, and when they're seeing responses, they realize they'd really like to participate in something else. We all wear many hats. We can train you in anything you want. If you decide that that's not for you, fine, we'll put you someplace else. But we have a need on the weekends. We have a need during the day and at night. And people say, I work, I can't volunteer. You have weekends, and that gives the people who respond all day long during the day time to come in. A lot of times people can do it from their own home. Because we're so web-based in several of our programs, they can accept the responsibility of keeping like the shelter count up to date, and they can take on the responsibility of activating the cards that we give to our clients so they have money to spend on certain things. So there is a lot that anybody can do. It's a matter of we sit down, talk to you, find out what you would like to do, and then we will mold it around what you want. We definitely do what we can to do what the volunteers need, because that's what's primary.
Well, that's wonderful, and I would think most businesses, where possible, and a company like you're affiliated with, Larry, if they had to go somewhere and it was possible to do without that employee or a couple of employees, I would think as much as we've been through as an area, we understand it probably as well as anybody. That certainly pat them on the back and wish them well. And
we have some employers that will do that, but we also have employers that are allowing their employees to leave for 2 or 3 hours during the day to respond to a fire, possibly once a week. Once during a month they go and do that. Some employers we're talking to are even talking about fixing up their own team, so they would take a week, a month, and they would respond during the day, which is wonderful community involvement for the company, and it gets their employees more involved in volunteering and seeing what volunteers do.
Real quickly, where does most of your funding come from?
From donations. All of it comes from donations or grants. We are federally mandated to do what we do. We do not receive any federal funds. It's all by the donated dollar. And when we give things to people so that they have a roof over their head, or have food to eat after a fire, that's all from the donated dollar, and we tell them that.
That's amazing, particularly in the economic times
it
that
is.
we've gone
We have
through the
so
last
many
years.
people that really are supporting us. It is getting tighter. You know, we learn to tighten our belts, but we have to respond and help people. When your house burns down, there's nothing more devastating than sitting there on the curb and not having anywhere to go.
I cannot begin to imagine the fright,
the
sadness, the wilderness.
And the volunteers that go out there are that first little ray of hope, and then afterwards, when the people can kind of clear their head, then we work with them on longer term recovery and referrals and that type of thing. So we come in and take care of the immediate needs, but then we will help those that need it on down the road. Maybe their children have lost their backpacks and uniforms or something. A lot of times we can find somebody to help replace that.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Larry is going to take us on a journey. And he's going to also show how there are different mechanisms out there for raising funds for the Red Cross. So stay tuned. Welcome back, and thank you again for joining us this evening. There are several ways that the Red Cross funds itself. And the exceptional experience, I think, that the Red Cross brings to any disaster situation, in the background, there's money that has to be raised. Judy, as you pointed out earlier, there are no federal dollars coming in, and that's good. We should, as society, step up, and I thank both of y'all on behalf of the the community for everything that y'all do. You know, they have traditional ways to help fund it, such as writing checks and things. But, you know, there are two events going on in Wilson and Rocky Mount that honor different individuals who've contributed a lot over the years in time and energy and effort. And it's called the Heroes Banquet. And Legal Armas, who is Dick's Hot Dog Stand in Wilson, and he's been a lifelong friend of mine, and I eat lunch over there probably once every other week, is being honored in Wilson, and Norma Turnage is being honored this year, I understand, in Rocky Mount. And what great, deserving people they both are. And that's one of the more traditional ways of helping with fundraising. Larry's doing something a little bit out of the box. He may get a little wet to do it, but he's got broad shoulders, and I think he can do it. Larry, tell us what you're up to.
Well, as I got involved with the Heroes campaign and looking at so many efforts being raised or put forth to raise money, I wanted to do something on an individual basis. I enjoy kayaking, and since we support so many counties along the coast, I thought that was a great opportunity to roll something I enjoy doing for something just a tremendous worthy cause. So I will be taking a 220-mile, 12-day kayaking trip down the Inland Coastal Waterway to raise hopefully a minimum of $14,000 for the Red Cross.
Let me interrupt you for a second. Let me get this straight. You're going to take a kayak, the equivalent of going from here basically to Nags Head and back.
Yes.
Whoa.
I will be leaving on May the 18th from up in Currituck County at Coinjock.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll be traveling again down the Inland Coastal Waterway. It'll be, again, 12 days, and people have been tremendously just gracious at offering places to stay, and Red Cross helping to resupply me at points so I don't have to carry, for instance, all the water that I would need for the trip.
Yeah, there's no way you could carry all your provisions.
No, there would not be. But it should be, I'm looking forward to a lot of fun, and I think it's just a great thing to do. I will maintain about 3 miles an hour through the trip.
Now, at 3 miles an hour, we were talking about this a little earlier, and I work out at the Y, so I'm somewhat familiar with the heart rate.
Yeah.
And I wish my heart rate would get as low as yours is at 3 miles an hour when I'm just resting. Tell our viewers about that.
Well, what I would do in preparation for this trip, I've put a heart monitor on. I've gone out and kayaked several miles and monitored what my heart rate would be. And at between 3 and 4 miles an hour, it settles in at 72 beats a minute.
Wow. I mean, that's, you know, don't let that gray hair on his head fool you. This is a man in tip-top condition at that. No, that's all joking aside. That is a wonderful thing to do. Will this be solo? Are you going to have others with you, or?
I've had a lot of individuals express interest in going, and so I hope that some will. As I told my wife Carolyn, the only person I can guarantee you that'll be there is me. We'll see.
If someone wanted to contribute to it, how would they?
Well, obviously contact the Red Cross, Fred, and the checks that they would donate to the Fred Turnage chapter. And in the memo, we would ask you to put Williamson Kayak Trip, because we're trying to monitor how much that we will be able to raise through these efforts.
And 14,000 is a goal.
14,000 is the goal.
How close are you to reaching it now?
Well, we've just really gotten started. I've been very fortunate. Friends of mine who have heard about what I'm doing, I've got checks in from California to Florida to around. Locally, we're just really getting started pretty much this week in our efforts to really start raising money.
That's incredible. What a great. When I got here today, I saw your car out there, and I figured it had to be your car. It had a kayak rack on it, a little kayak sticker on the back of it. I thought this is good. How did you build yourself up to that? I do it a couple of times a year at the beach, and you know, I'd go out a couple of hours, and I think I've done something. You know, I'm not even at the batter's box compared to what you're doing. I'm humbled.
Well, I've always spent a lot of time in my life around water, and I've canoed, for instance,
Yeah.
probably since the early 70s. And about 10 years ago, my wife and I started doing a lot of kayaking. We live on the water, the reservoir here in Rocky Mount, so we would go out and spend time. I just got to enjoy it more and more. I would get out in the mornings and sometimes kayak for an hour before work. As I started coming up with this idea, I started making a real concerted effort to add hours. So I would go down to the beach and paddle 20 miles and just practice.
Judy, and we'll have it come across the screen, but could you give our audience the best way to contact to help Larry achieve his goal of $14,000? Anybody who's going to do that deserves our support.
I would be more than happy to. You can send your check to Frederick E. Turney's chapter. It's 326 South Franklin Street, Rocky Mount, North Carolina, 27804. And if you have any questions, call the office. It's 252-977-1720. We'll be more than happy to help you any way we can.
That is the most incredible fundraising event around here. We have a lot of them in Rocky Mount. I mean, people are so generous.
Yes, they are.
We can raise money for a lot of worthwhile projects, but that one is, that's taking it over the top.
If people are interested, it's going to be, like I said, over 12 days. It will be approximately 73 hours of paddle time. Mm-hmm. So I invite you to join me on pick levels days out that might match your skill. We have some that are in protective waters, nice flat water that will not be
there we go.
such a challenge.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, and then we've got there are 3 days we'll be doing smoke and water crossing. So those require a little bit more of a skill level, a little higher skill level.
Absolutely. No, I'm kind of I wouldn't even classify it as a weekend warrior on that, maybe a once a year warrior. But no, I think that's wonderful. I think what a great dual purpose. You're raising money. It's great physical, activity for you. Good for your heart, obviously.
Yeah, just fun.
Well, we wish you all the best, and I hope everyone will join in supporting it, and also supporting and thanking the Red Cross and thanking the Red Cross volunteers. Judy, any parting words? We're getting close to the end.
I would just like to thank everybody that supports the Red Cross, and if it wasn't for our volunteers, we would not be able to respond at all. We always need new volunteers, and we know now that David's going to become one of them. And but we really do need volunteers. We will work around your schedule, and you will find it to be one of the most rewarding things you have ever done, because you cannot imagine what it's like till you go onto a scene or you're helping the first responders that are there to help you. So I think it would be very worthwhile. If you have any questions, you would like for us to come speak at your function, we'll be more than happy to do that. Just give us a call. We're here to serve you.
Judy, you have been a wonderful sport coming out today with but I think that's the spirit of the Red Cross. You don't let little barriers get in your way. You move mountains or go over them or go through them or whatever.
We're like the postman. We go through rain, snow, anything.
To get the job done.
That's right.
And get the job done, y'all do, and y'all do well. And Larry, what a great volunteer. My goodness.
Thank you.
And on behalf of those who've been touched and not have been touched by disaster, thank you, because I know that $14,000 that you will raise with our help will go a long way.
It sure will.
Well, there's a lot of opportunity for people to contribute and just be creative. Come up with your own ideas. Everything we raised is needed.
That's true. And we appreciate every penny we get.
I know you do, and I'm sure there are others out there that will come up with some good ideas. But thank y'all for joining us today and coming out, and I would like to thank our audience as well for tuning in. So thank you.
Thank you.